Weapons in video games are always a good time, because you get all the fun of the destruction without the consequences of real life. Remember, this is a personal list based on games that I own and have played, which is why you won't be seeing any weapons from those games on this list, because I have little to no experience with them. And before I forget, this is a weapons list, not a power-up list. The way I see it, if it works for a limited time, or if you lose it when you get hit, die, or use a continue, then it's a power-up, which is why you won't be seeing the spreader from Contra on this list. Let's start it off. What better way to start off this list than with a game that has a weapon name in the title? Gunstar Heroes lets you have one of these 4 weapons as your default gun. The Force, Lightning, Chaser, and Fire. I always chose the Chaser. The Chaser does what its name implies. It chases after all the enemies on the screen. You can also get the other weapons and have different effects for them. However, once you got a continue, you would lose that extra weapon. Otherwise, I would have had this Chaser Lightning thing as my favorite. But just having the Chaser by itself, I felt so invincible. Custom Robo was crazy about the weapons. You had 3 different sections, but the most important one was your gun. Some of them were the normal type like a Gatling gun. Then you had some really creative or just plain weird weapons. But my favorite is the drill. It works in a short range, but just look at what it does. Rapid fire, they can't move, they pretty much go down in a hit. I didn't need the illegal weapons, I just needed the drill. You're crazy if you thought I was going to leave Bomberman off this list. He's got bombs, tons of bombs. Too bad he only knows 2 ways of how to use them. He can either kick them or throw them. The best way is to pick one up and pump it up. The pumped up bombs create a much larger explosion that can knock over bridges, make it easier to kill enemies in the versus mode, and heck, easier to kill just about anything. Even large bosses take a lot of damage from a pumped up bomb. They can barely take it. Plus they can be used for creating bomb bounces. Powerful and functional. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Metal Man's Metal Blades are the most powerful weapon in the classic Mega Man series. They can be fired off in 8 directions, 3 at a time, killing lots of enemies. Plus, they can be used to destroy 3 of the bosses in Mega Man 2 very easily. But just for the sake of being different, I'm gonna pick something else. How about a weapon that can just obliterate all the enemies on the screen without even trying? Say perhaps Tornado Man's Tornado Blow. And yes, it's a weapon, not a power-up. With the Tornado Blow, you can wipe away all the enemies on the screen. Some of you are probably thinking, well, doesn't the Astral Crush do the same thing in Mega Man 8? Well, yeah, but it can also be used to lift up those platforms in Wily's castle. Yeah, I know, the Tornado Blow can't kill all enemies, but the Metal Blades aren't all that powerful now, are they? It's a lightsaber. I'm a Star Wars fan. You do the math. If those items look familiar to you, then you know this pattern as well as I do. It's the trading side quest to get the best weapon in the game, the Big Goron Sword. What it lacks for having a shield makes up for in its attack. This thing is twice as powerful as the Master Sword. Even more powerful is when you do your jump attack, because then it becomes 4 times as powerful. That means if you use it against a boss, it'll take a quarter of a time than it would normally take using the Master Sword. Choke on that, Ganondorf! I don't care for first-person shooters, but Goldeneye is an exception, thanks in part to its fantastic multiplayer mode. The weapons can come in a range of useless like the Clob, to some of the more powerful, devastating weapons, such as the AR-33 assault rifle. But my favorite non-explosive would have to be the laser. Great range, great power, no ammo. The only thing better than the laser? 2 lasers! Thank you, All Guns cheat code that my brother worked so hard to get. Currently, Going Commando is still the only Ratchet & Clank game I own. Going Commando has lots of great weapons, whether they're destructive or just plain fun to use. For me though, nothing beats the Plasma Storm. You don't even have to aim this thing at enemies, it'll just shock them. It bounces off walls, and any enemy that's within range will get shot. Its powerful, destructive. It's like a little bouncing ball of death. That alone deserves number 3 on my list. Ah, General Chaos. Your weapons were so simplistic, but you were just so much fun to play, I don't even care about that. In the game, there's a total of 5 different characters. The Gunner, the Launcher, the Chucker, the Scorcher, and the Blaster. The 2 best ones were the Scorcher and the Launcher. But I'm gonna give it to the Launcher just because he has long range and does massive amounts of damage. Bazooka Duke says, "Chew on this!" I wonder if anyone will get that exact reference. And no, the reference is a reference to Bazooka Joe. Resident Evil 4 has a lot of great weapons thanks to him.
Got something that might interest you.
But there is no weapon, I repeat, no weapon better than beating the game, collecting 1,000,000 pesetas to get the Chicago typewriter. It has infinite ammo, doesn't need to reload, fires very rapid shots, and is incredibly powerful. You can hold off an entire angry mob with this. Yeah, there's also the infinite rocket launcher, but that's too slow and you can take damage from it. Well, that about does it for my top 10 personal favorite weapons in video games. If you have your own list, go ahead and leave a comment about your own 10 favorite weapons in video games.